Am I dreaming or am I in the video dungeon?
No, you're not dreaming.
Oh my God, I'm here. Yes, that's right. Today's episode is going to be from the video dungeon. Thank you, Movie Dumpster, for having me.
Of course, Tony. You make me feel like a guest in my own place.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Is it good? Is it kind of one of the bad ones? Let's find out if it's good or not in this episode of Talking About Tapes.
We're talking about tapes.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know where to look for your show.
Look anywhere.
I
never know.
You guys shot an episode on my set.
That's right.
Without me.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was Movie Dumpster Video.
We had the Munchie poster?
Oh, because you put a sign up? Okay.
The Theodore Rex.
Yeah.
I redid that whole intro, baby.
Jerk.
Right, with our mutual friend, Clayton Fioriti.
Yes. So I figured we wanted to do Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I was coming out here to shoot a review anyway. Let's kill two birds with one stone. So yes, we were talking about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. I've since done the first film.
Mm-hmm.
I have a solo review of the second film from years ago. Apparently people didn't, that wasn't enough for people, so I did a commentary track. I did 3 and 4, and we're trying to cover all of them leading up to Freddy versus Jason in October, because October has a Friday the 13th. So I'm excited.
So we're really hitting that goalpost, right?
We're really hitting it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to skip part 7 because I already did that on
did.
Clayton's channel, Dragon Curve. So check it out there. And then I'll do the remake, Who Gives a Shit When.
No hurry there, right?
But yes, the reason I wanted to do this with you guys, it's because it's our boy, Stephen Hopkins.
It is Stephen Hopkins.
From Predator 2, director of Predator 2 and Lost in Space and other movies.
We won't mention Lost in Space again.
Yeah, the bloop.
How about we throw in Ghost in the Darkness in there? There you go.
Ghost of the Darkness is a good one. Ghost of the Darkness is a good one, even though it's highly inaccurate. And also those lines in real life didn't have mains.
It's
but I guess
still a ton of fun.
It is a ton of fun. Also, I don't think the Michael Douglas character even existed. But anyway.
It's okay with me.
This was made at the height of Freddymania.
4 was the jump off, man.
4 was the highest grossing one.
Yes.
The TV show is out at this point. There's a ton of merch. You own a lot of it.
There is a lot. I got the Freddy Squirter up there.
You've got Freddy Balls up there.
Yeah, well, not Freddy's balls.
Camera, but
oh my God, I have a giant head.
You have
a giant squirter head of Freddy Krueger over there.
Yeah, they really went all in on the squirting Freddy.
That's a very sexual character.
I got the glove signed by Robert Englund. I got the 3D glasses from Freddy's Dead.
Oh, that's cool.
That standee is part 4, but that's from John Carl Buechler's studios.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Freddy was huge at this time, and they were firing on all cylinders. And like, okay, he's in music videos, TV shows, this.
He's rapping with the Fat Boys.
And they're like, well, we got to do part 5 now. We got to do that. And I have a thing here. This is apparently from one of the 2010 documentary.
Never Sleep Again?
Yes.
You guys definitely need to check that out if you haven't seen it.
So the one screenwriter was interviewed, and apparently the idea for having a kid being like taken over by Freddy was pitched for part 3.
Leslie Boehm.
Yes.
Was the person, the writer, the screenplay writer.
Yes, and I forget an executive, New Line. Yes, Sarah Reicher was pregnant at the time, and she didn't want to do that idea. I feel like she was a little biased.
Yeah.
I feel like he was a little biased. But as she got older and had the kids, she realizes, people watch the first one are probably having kids now, so this might relate to them.
I thought that was interesting.
It's an interesting idea. Peter Levy is the cinematographer. He actually is the cinematographer for a lot of Stephen Hopkins movies.
Really?
Not Ghost in the Darkness, but most Stephen Hopkins movies.
Why does that sound familiar, Peter Levy?
I forgot to write down his other
Eugene
credits.
Levy's brother?
He was the cinematographer for a couple big movies.
Okay.
But he seems to work a lot.
He's a producer, too.
I think he's
like
a
big
producer
Yeah.
also.
I think wasn't he a producer on Aliens?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Or something. I feel like he came up in that episode.
I wrote the cinematographer thing down. I don't have this whole IMDb up. I'm sorry.
Before you keep going, John Skipp and Craig Spector also added to the script, Leslie Boehm's script.
I was going to say, the Writers Guild had to get involved because it had a bunch of writers, and they're like, okay, who are we crediting? Because this is all over the place.
I really want to know like what John Skip and John Spector wrote, or Craig Spector, John Skip and Craig Spector wrote for this movie.
The previous movie, I don't know if you saw my review, but like they wanted the director of Friday Part 6 to direct Part 4, and he's like, okay, I really want creative control, and they're like, oh, we already started filming, and he's like, wait, what? The script's not done, and they're like, yeah, we're just doing like puppet shit. So that's the kind of mentality New Line was in at this point.
And then John Carl Buechler stepped in.
I mean, I didn't watch your Elm Street Part 4. I'm gonna try not to say Friday. I was doing that a lot before this recording. But that movie I hate so much. But I remember some of the things in that movie just feel like so like thrown in there, like the fucking karate kill.
Well,
the
that
Dramarama song thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked it as a kid, but like going back to the fourth one is just like I don't know if I need this.
It's very of its time, very MTV. I think I used to really not like that one, but I think I enjoy it a little bit more now. The karate stuff was like a last minute kill.
Yeah, with the glove is the only thing you see. I don't know. It's just I know you already reviewed that. I just feel like this one, there's things that they pull from for that are important, but I feel like there's enough different in this that they pull themselves from the yuck.
Yes.
The goo of 4, as far as I'm concerned, from that cockroach's fucking guts.
For me, you could watch this film by itself. In my opinion, it's a very like contained thing.
It gives you up to date. Like a lot of these movies bring you up to date if you missed the other ones. Yeah. So yeah, I have it here. You know, again, they really killed it with that last one. And then I have here, although it was the highest grossing slasher film of 1989, it ended up being the second lowest grossing nightmare movie like ever.
Ever, yeah.
So
which is unfortunate.
That was a step
So
down.
I gotta ask, did this or Ghostbusters 2 make more money?
Oh, Ghostbusters 2 probably made way more money than this.
It was only on 2.
Now, did it turn?
Well,
did it turn more of a profit? That's a different question because this is probably cheaper to make than Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2 they had on every channel forever for every New Year.
But also the actors, it's more expensive to get the cast of Ghostbusters than it is Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's also more accessible to kids.
Yes.
It's also me just bringing it up to get you to talk about Ghostbusters too. But.
It's a good movie.
So I have it here. I have a quote from Stephen Hopkins here.
Oh boy!
Because as you will probably go into with this film, this thing was butchered by the MPAA.
Yes,
I read a little about that.
He has a quote. It was a rush schedule without a reasonable budget, and after I finished it, New Line and the MPAA came in and cut the guts out of it completely.
Yeah.
What started out as an okay film, I love that he's modest enough to be like, look, it wasn't going to be great. It's okay.
Steve is very real about his movies, you know.
With a few good bits, turned into a total embarrassment. I can't even watch it anymore. Even though I think this might be my least favorite, not counting the remake, least favorite of the actual Freddy movies.
Okay.
But there is stuff to like in this. I'll talk about my biggest complaint with this movie as we'll go through it, which is very ironic when you find out what it is.
Well, just to your point real quick before you keep going. So when does Part 7 come out? 88?
I believe so.
It's like the year before, and I feel like they were like
around that time.
I think it was 88.
They were cutting. They were
on a fucking rampage, which I think the Video Nasty. No, that was like the early 80s.
That was before. But these movies are doing really well and turning until 1989 they started to go down at that point. They're turning like such a profit, and you could tell like theater owners and stuff were kind of embarrassed by it. So the MPA were kind of making them.
I guess so.
This one and I think the last one to some extent, from what I recall, I didn't rewatch it for this. But you definitely feel like Hellraiser influenced these films on some level too.
Yeah, they're definitely getting more. They're more interested in what they can do effects wise.
I guess that's what I mean. Yeah,
that was my complaint before. It's not very scary.
Well, okay. So up until this point, now Freddy in Nightmare 4, Freddy's a fucking meme. At that point.
That's when he goes full blown.
3 for me is peak. 2 is really fucking good, and I think that's the last time Freddy was scary up until 5.
Yeah.
I think Steve does a really good job with this. He makes it like really dark, which is something that we haven't seen for 3 movies. You know what I mean?
So yeah, he tried.
He tried giving it like this gothic air.
Yeah, he really.
to it.
He mentioned how he wanted a lot of gothic imagery in here.
It's darker to the point where like there's not a lot of humor in this movie.
Well, that's a problem.
I know for
there
you.
is humor in the movie, and it clashes with the film.
Sometimes.
So yeah, he showed like Robert Englund. He's like, I wanted to have like this whole Escher sort of thing, and Robert Englund was like sold on that. Not that it matters what Robert Englund thinks when it comes to the script, but it's good to have his approval. He was like psyched to do it.
Yeah, he's like, well, I saw Labyrinth. That looked great.
So yeah, I guess we'll just get into this.
Yeah.
Actually, can I read the back of the box here?
Sure. It's your show.
This is the original.
No, you can't.
This is the original. Oh yeah, thank you for letting me read it this time.
Well,
This
you,
is the
you are in
original-
our dungeon,
Yes,
Tony.
yes.
So I'm glad you did ask.
Yeah.
This is the original VHS tape. Of course, I have my 2000s re-released one.
That
here.
was a fun one, though. That was part of the box set where they
Yes.
all made Freddy.
Yes. Here we go. From Tomb to Womb.
Not bad. Not
Freddy
bad.
Krueger's back, ripping up flesh and ripping off one-liners in his most
monotonous. Did you read that one again?
maniacally perverse fright fest yet. This time, he's terrifying a whole new generation of Elm Street kids. A generation yet unborn. It's really, really ahead of himself with that one. Unable to overpower Alice, the beautiful Dream Master, who vanquished him in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. So if I'm renting this, I'm like, okay, well, at least I know what happened in the last movie.
Yes. You're already set up for it.
You don't need the recap at the beginning.
Nope.
Freddy haunts the innocent dreams of her developing fetus.
That's kind of giving away the goat, huh?
To provide some fiendishly fatherly advice. Freddy a father? Question mark.
There's too many F's happening in those two sentences.
Here's
they barely go into in the movie. But.
Here's a reference that stood up to the test of time. Hey, like Wally and the Beeves' dad, this guy's Mr. Cleaver. Mr. Meat Cleaver.
The description's more cheeky than the fucking movie.
Every kid on Elm Street. I think whoever wrote the movie wrote this.
Didn't watch it?
And every kid on Elm Street will get the razor sharp point. So lullaby and good fright.
Oh.
Because Freddy's fifth is a symphony of screams. That last part is attributed to Mike Clark from USA Today.
Dude, I
Thanks,
love
Mike.
I love alliteration. I love puns,
got
but
a
that
little-
was a lot.
They got a little carried away
That
with
was
that
fucking
one.
rapid fire.
A little carried away.
Hey, Robert, what would you have said if we let you write the script? Well, okay, let me think about this for a second.
It's a boy.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what he would have really
So-
said. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So I guess we'll get into this film here. So it starts with some boning.
literal.
Yes, and these people are clearly having unprotected sex because they were having it. The plot of the movie wouldn't happen.
A
So
wet
anyway.
dream? What'd you say?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, you gotta get your sex and your slasher, of
Well,
course. Right at the
always-
beginning in this one,
always-
second one.
Oh, practice safe sex. That's how you avoid a dream child.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha. It is tasteful though. It's not like
Yeah.
let's have sex and smoke pot. It's like, you know.
Yes.
I was
yes.
trying to figure out where the ass began, where the
Yes.
tits
It
began.
was a
was
little confusing in the
Yeah.
beginning. I'm like, what part of the body am I looking at?
I mean, that's a sweaty back with a hand coming out. You know what's cooking.
Yeah, Alice is getting hers.
Yes.
Yeah, she sure is.
She goes to shower up afterwards, and she's having a nightmare about drowning.
About pea soup coming out of the
Yes.
drain there.
And
Pennywise.
and then she imagines herself in an asylum, and she's totally naked until she turns into a nun. And then we
Yes.
realize she is in the past reliving Amanda Kruger's rough weekend that she had.
Oh man.
Which is that's
Rough
how
is understating.
that's what we'll refer to it on this channel. We'll call it Amanda Kruger's rough weekend.
Oh, man,
right, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Amanda Kruger's rough weekend.
Yeah,
I like
where
that
she
better.
was locked in with a bunch of insane people.
How does this
Not being monitored at all. I know that was kind of weird.
The guys
Nightmare
were
on Elm
like-
Street Part 3. I'm like, that's a convoluted backstory.
I mean, that's fine because you didn't actually
Yeah.
see it.
But
They
now
were just
you
like,
see
she's the
it's
son
like-
of 100 maniacs.
He's like 88, 89. It's 100.
This is the same insane asylum from fucking Good Burger. We know how those people operate.
George Clinton's there?
Well, I'm just saying, if we reviewed it on our show, go check it out. But
Yeah.
those people working there were incompetent. You know, Keenan just hits him in the stomach and
Yes.
then you break out.
They're dancing when they're dancing.
Well,
yeah.
right,
Yeah, we're looking at all these.
They're dancing in this movie.
We're looking at all these crazy people, and one of them is Robert Englund.
Oh, they're showing
'Cause
him
he always,
big time.
He
It's
always has to have a cameo outside of his makeup.
So if you take this scene and then butt it up with the beginning of Look Who's Talking, it makes perfect sense.
Jesus Christ.
So
Joe.
what? Give the sperm, Robert Englund's voice, and he makes it to the egg. round, round, get around, he gets around. Yeah.
I think in real life it's not who gets there first because I think a lot of them die and weaken the egg.
Well, he's got the
so a
claw.
later one
he
gets
ki-
it.
no, he pulled in the
He
claw.
has a claw.
He killed Bruce Willis, and then he went in.
Sorry, Bruce.
Not today.
I didn't
there
think
you
Look
go.
Who's Talking. I should have known, but I didn't think Look Who's Talking was going to come up. In
Old
that.
habits die hard.
Oh, my
some
God.
You're in
bad
the dungeon, Tony.
So yes, she's somehow reliving this thing. Also, I think we're led to believe that the guy who is Robert Englund is Freddy's actual dad.
Right.
Dad.
100%.
Because even though it's called Son of 100 Maniacs, that's not how babies work.
Well, there was definitely 100 fucking wieners in there.
Yes, but I don't think it was all 100. I'm pretty sure there was one person who was too crazy to get it up.
Fred Krueger had the super sperm, or whatever his name is. Amanda
Also-
Kruger's her name.
What is this? This is like the 40s or 50s?
It
Some-
looks
That,
like,
that was
dude,
the sepia tone was supposed to tell
By,
you.
by the way, back then, a lot of times, this is an unfortunate fact, a lot of times rich families would just send their annoying kids there to
Yeah.
get out of the way.
Oh my god, it looks like Renfield is in the fucking cell
Yeah.
next door.
Like that's why a lot of those places shut down. Because
Right.
it's like, wait a minute,
There's
not all
nothing
these
wrong.
people are crazy. It's like, oh, the parents they're like, oh, my son's gay. I gotta send him to the insane asylum.
yeah.
Like, that's not what.
Tony, it's even worse than that.
Or they give them the shit to make them like zombies.
people
Yes.
with like autism or like
Yeah.
whatever was wrong with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're fucking crazy. Put them in the hole.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
just put them in.
Put them in a jacket.
Put them all in there at the same
Throw their
time.
record away. We'll never need it.
Completely demolish their psyche by sticking them in a fucking dark
Yeah.
room forever.
Hey, you know what? That guy gets scared around loud noises. That guy skins cats. Have them share the same room. It's like,
you
I
mean-
think we should separate these.
Oh, you mean Amanda Kruger's in there? I don't worry about it. You'll be
the
fine.
nun who's
Oh,
like
make sure to send the young nun into the middle of a room of 100 people.
What was she even
Now,
doing?
is Freddy directing this and making it look more intense than it was?
Yeah, like-
what I want to know is like the guys who were there, like, I want to get out of here. Hundreds of them. If they stayed, and Amanda Kruger was like, wait, what would they have done to alleviate 100 Maniacs gang?
I don't know.
Move
You know what I
along.
want to know is the convent that she belongs to. No one went, hey, where's Amanda? For a whole weekend?
Well, because we're now in the 5th film, and they hand waved it in the 3rd one. And now they're actually explaining it, so now it's just like, don't think beyond this dream sequence.
Yeah,
too
you're right.
much.
Now that we're seeing it, we're
Yeah.
pointing a lot of holes. Like,
Yeah.
wait, they let them go for the whole week? What do they do? Fill them like a water?
Yeah.
Like,
They must
oh,
open
big, let's have the food bowl all the way to the top.
They open the door, and they're like, they're going at it for a while. We'll just wait it out. It's like when a dog humps your leg, let them finish.
Once they start walking around, their shoes are sticking, then they know to go in there.
Oh my god! So,
Son of 100 bukakes.
That's basically what it was.
Jesus
Here comes out Freddy. This fucking suckling ass baby.
This fucking sweet potato looking
does
motherfucker.
look like a
God.
suckling baby.
Yeah.
So anyway, she wakes up, and this is there's a couple good jump scares in this.
Yeah.
Where you think the scary thing is done.
Sure.
That was cool. And then he immediately disappears, which, they move the camera and stuff, but
Yeah.
he leaves. But it's cool how they did that.
She's dreaming while she's awake.
Yes.
Is the weird part here.
Well, yes. She's a daydreamer.
Daydream believer, yeah.
Yes. But there's a reason this is happening, we find out.
Yes.
Also, in
They
case
spoiled it on the box,
in
by the
case
way.
you forgot, because they don't really explain it at all. Hence why Joe was saying you could just watch this on its own.
Yes.
She got what's her faces, not Patricia Arquette, Patricia Arquette.
Tuesday night.
The character.
Yeah.
Her powers in a
to
convoluted
pull-
way.
Yeah, and then she somehow the powers like morphed where she was getting the abilities of all her friends who were dying.
But they forgot about that part for this one.
She was collecting them like fucking souls or something.
Yes.
Like going into her, like, all right.
like,
Here,
and
get the
then-
nunchucks in the headband.
and then she defeated Freddy by showing him a mirror
Oh, that was so stupid.
and
Look at your
singing a song.
evil.
Yes, but then at the very end when she did the wishing well, she sees Freddy for a second, so it's clear like he could come back.
They
mean,
do that in every
They're-
movie, though.
Yeah, they're never gonna let him just
The
go
good
away.
news
The point is, she has the powers.
What
or
do you mean they're
whatever.
never going to let him go away? I've seen Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
Oh.
Have you seen the newest Nightmare though? After that,
What about
that's
Freddy
like-
vs. Jason?
we're not sure where that takes place
No,
exactly.
yeah.
So yes,
But the point is, she could bring people into her dreams.
yes, Freddy needs her dreams. It was a convoluted thing in
It
part 4
is.
where all the Nightmare kids died.
Yeah.
So he needed her dreams to interact with her friends. So when she was asleep, he could interact with her
Yeah.
friends.
It took a shit.
Yes. Anyway, Anyway.
Doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, the good news is she's graduating.
Mm.
Her and Dan, the guy she was with from the last film,
She's
they're
also
graduating.
blonde now, randomly.
She's also blonde
Was
now.
she not blonde in the last movie?
She's like more of like a cherry.
Yeah.
She's like
blonde.
strawberry.
Yeah.
And now she has new friends. And they're like, yeah, we're so happy to graduate. And no one stops and goes like, remember our friends who died?
Well, again, because they took that script and they put it in a drawer and they forgot about that part because nobody in the town in the 5th fucking movie, I guess if you don't count 2, the 4th movie,
Freddie, who?
it's like,
Yeah, they're like, who?
that's where you start to lose me, where I'm like, all right. At least with Halloween, you knew Michael Myers, he was either blown up so they thought he was gone or he was in the nut house.
With this,
it's like, what the fuck?
What this is, it's kind of cool because it tries something different. This is the movie
Sure.
that does the different. Besides Wes Craven's New Nightmare, this is the different thing, right?
I would agree. I'm just saying that caveat is impossible to look past, where it's like, how is the town not believe her? Not a single soul?
She never says Freddie to anybody.
Well, she does
She
later,
does
maybe not at
eventually.
first,
There
to
is
be
a
fair.
scene midway through where she then gives them the update. She only
Well,
really
the kids, but not
Yeah.
the adults.
Oh yeah. She only really talks about it with Dan because he was there and
Yeah.
witnessed it. I did hear that there's a lot of like weird editing mistakes because of how chopped up it was. So in this
Yeah.
scene, she has like the tickets to Europe before
Oh.
he gives her the tickets.
Oh right.
Huh.
There's like weird little mistakes like that.
That's shitty. Like, why was that fucked up?
I don't know. I mean, good movies have mistakes.
No,
like
I'm just
stuff
saying.
like that. What you call it? Her one friend has an overbearing mother. That's right. We're meeting our victims. I mean, friends.
Greta,
The one
yeah.
has an overbearing mother. Yeah, Greta. And then Yvonne is like a swimmer.
Right.
Greta's mom is terrified that she's gonna get fat for some reason.
Because she wants her to be a model or something.
Yes,
I
yes.
failed in life. You're going to do the thing I failed at.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
big
I
time.
guess.
Her,
Vicariously fucking her up, yeah.
she was worried that her dad missed the graduation because he was drinking, but he actually was there. But he's ashamed of his alcoholic
Right.
past.
That was kind of sweet.
I like that he had a little character. arc.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
actually really good in this.
Yeah.
How he kind of like evolved from where we saw him in the last
he
one.
was a
100%.
piece of shit in the last one.
Yeah. Well, I think the death of his son and all
Yeah.
that
Well,
stuff kind of like
that'll
leveled
drive
him
you
out.
to do a bunch of shit.
There's also the friend Mark,
Yes.
who I definitely think of as kind of like what's his face from Scream's kind of the proto version of that. What was that?
Proto
character?
version of
Jamie
Randy.
Kennedy?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
also reminds me of the guy from Friday Part 7 who was trying to be a science fiction.
little
writer.
bit.
Yeah.
He's very similar to that.
But the character that kind of gets it. As soon as
Yes.
things start going wrong, he's like, okay, I kind of believe
He's
this.
open. He's open to the idea because
Yeah.
he's like entrenched in the fantastic and like comic books.
Exactly.
And stuff.
Yes. So yeah, she hasn't dreamed that night. And you're right, the gothic imagery in this is on point.
It's fucking cool,
the
man.
cinematography in this is on
Oh, it's
point.
really
That-
good.
Unreal.
That's one of the more frustrating things though. I'm like, this movie looks so
good.
good, and I'm just not into it kind of
Mm.
story-wise. And there's things that take me out of it, which sucks because it just looks so nice.
The story is strong.
Yeah.
The dialogue is ass.
Yes.
And Lisa
Yes.
Wilcox is really bad at delivering the
Oh,
lines.
yeah. Greta,
Even-
that's
yeah.
Greta, right?
Yeah.
she's
No,
bad.
Lisa Wilcox is the
Is-
main girl.
is the
Al.
main
Oh,
chick.
she's
Yeah.
not great either.
No.
honestly.
Nobody's
Fine,
really
she's
great.
fine.
What'd you got?
Yvonne's good.
Speaking of people having kids, the creepy wheelchair from Part 3, I think, gave birth to this creepy baby character.
The one on the
Maybe.
cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the cover. This used to creep me out when I was a kid. When I would see this in video stores, I'm like, he has a kid? I'm like, that is terrifying.
When I watched this as a kid, it scared the fuck out of me because anything with like birth and like messing with birth and making it gross and demonic, it's already a kind of weird, gross thing, and it
Yeah.
kind of freaks me out in general in real life.
Yeah.
And when you apply it to this weird, psychological, disgusting demon dream
Wow.
state,
Yeah.
it just skeeves me out.
I mean,
man.
it also feels like something like talk about gothic, like something like Pubert was riding in, and Adam.
Oh,
Sandler
yeah.
values.
That's where he got it from. He got it from the Adams.
The Adams gave it to him
Yeah.
alone.
It was a gift.
So Alice is now in another memory
Right.
where Amanda is giving birth. But like Amanda's like, we're seeing the past, but then Amanda's like, why is he doing this again? So like, I guess he's like he's getting Amanda to relive this experience so he could be rebirthed.
Literally.
again?
So I understand the rebirth part.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how he manifests in the first place.
So, I mean,
get-
how does he manifest in any of this shit?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, he
after-
comes back with the dog piss in
Well,
the
there
fourth
you
one.
go.
Well, the dog pissing, I don't think that was meant to be literal.
No, I know.
I think that character being so scared of him, her fear brought him back.
Maybe that's what's happening in this. Like but that doesn't really make any sense.
It's
I don't
one
know.
of the problems with this film.
The initial return of Freddy doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
but when he comes back, when he's birthed out of Amanda Kruger, and then she has that whole scene.
Yeah, which I do like that. I think in the beginning it's Lisa Wilcox and the camera pans over and then Lisa Wilcox is watching. So she must have been a quick dress change.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of reality, but obviously Freddy Krueger was not a weird goblin monster when he was born. I think that's just for this whole nightmare sequence.
Well, no, that's his rebirth.
Yeah.
Because he's dead.
He looks terrifying
It's
in this.
fucking creepy,
He's
man.
Like,
he looks like one of the bleeders.
A little bit. I'm saying the Suckling, man. Put those two
Suckling.
side by side.
If you watch the movie Dumpster, you know that we have a mutant team of ninja babies.
Yeah.
Freddy is joining the fucking ranks.
Speaking
He's
of,
definitely in the ranks for
do
sure.
you have bleeders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's in the other room.
I think that's one I've never seen, but the cover used to creep me out because
Blood.
it's all flesh.
Well, it's all the Van Damme faces, and then there's like blood in it. It's like a gimmick box.
Yes.
So the bees are on the other side of the basement.
That's all right. Yeah, it used to scare the shit out of me. But yeah, so he goes back to the church from where he died in the last one.
Right.
That's pretty cool when he crawls into the clothes and he starts to grow and his hands all fucked up in his foot. I really like.
And the whole time I'm watching, I was like, Alice, get that mirror.
She forgot about that part.
That mirror over there. Show him the mirror that'll free the souls and get that mirror.
Only works once.
Instead, she goes like, what?
You know what's happening.
Yeah. So he's back. And
the set design in this is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the special effects are
and the way they light Freddy in this scene, he's all covered in shadow. It's pretty intimidating.
It's awesome.
And he's back, baby. Literally, because he's back and he's a baby?
He's a baby
Kinda.
who's back. Well, he's a full-grown man.
Yeah.
With weird fingers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's your boy!
I don't mind that one, but then like
it's a good one.
And then Amanda shows up and she's like, blah, you gotta
release me from my earthly prison.
Release me from my earthly prison. And I guess what you call it? Alice never got the backstory on Amanda Krueger.
Right.
And was like, who the fuck are you?
No, she's like,
we know who Amanda Krueger is. I also like that Amanda Krueger's young now.
But Nancy,
I guess she gets to choose what kind of ghost age she needs to be.
Isn't Nancy the only person who knows about Amanda Krueger in part 3?
No, the guy doctor knew about Amanda Krueger.
Oh, okay.
He kept communicating with her.
Okay.
Yeah, he never comes back for any of these.
Well, because then someone would be able to explain what's going on, and we can't have that.
Yes. So yeah, he like hides her. He's like, and he's like, yeah, she says something, and he's like, "We'll see, bitch." One, called his mom, bitch.
Makes him a son of a bitch.
Don't say that. Don't say.
Maybe. He's definitely a bastard.
Did I steal your joke?
No. I didn't. That was better than anything I could come up with. Good job,
I'll
Sean.
take this victory. I'm like George Costanza going out on top. We're done, right?
Just leave the whole episode. Well, the jerk store, called. Yeah, but you're right. We were talking about it before. Like, he gets a little carried away with the bitches in this one.
He says bitch almost
They
every
realized
line
that was the thing.
that people were quoting.
Welcome to Primetime Bitch, dude. That's one of the best lines of
this,
3.
This starts to have a little bit of the Austin Powers issue where like all the sequels
Do I make you horny?
The sequels had to like one up, and then they started like really forcing the one-liners.
I mean, I don't want to go on a whole Austin Powers side tangent because I think that all those movies still work really well, but you're not wrong at all that was a thing.
It became less organic and more like, if we make this line catch on, we could sell it on a shirt, we could sell a toy that says
definitely more with Freddy, 100%.
Like, I literally have a Mr. Bigglesworth that when you squeeze, it says, "We don't gnaw on our kitty." Like, that's what they're trying to do here with this.
Yeah.
They're trying to like really manufacture these like one-liners, but it's not bothering me yet.
No, but
I mean, they definitely were worse than 4, but I get what you mean.
But I like that we're setting up the stakes. Like, Freddy is back.
Yeah.
There's a way to stop him. We've introduced that. Now we got to see how we get there.
There's no good monologues from him in this,
No.
and that's sorely missed. And I'm like, where is that part? Because now we're just like having him say stupid.
The
jokes.
last one, he's like, "I am eternal."
Yeah,
and
that's
shit
such
like
a good one, and I thought that was from this one. And I watched it, I was like, oh fuck.
This one, he mostly is on screen when he's actually killing people, but the rest of it, it's a lot of like him in the shadows, which I guess is kind of reminiscent of the first one. Maybe that's what they were going
He's
for.
fucking ski bopping this whole movie.
So
when he comes in, he's like, "Ha ha! I'm a puppet. I'm a cartoon."
When he actually does show up, you're right.
So while this is happening, the other gang is hanging out at the pool, and the
the
dweeb
pool
is drawing
party.
his comics.
Yeah.
The Phantom Prowler.
Oh, that's I missed the name.
But Phantom Prowler. It's like,
man.
oh, that's the name of 2 different comic heroes. Got it.
Yeah, you know.
and he hates blood. It was the weirdest thing. Someone puts their hand on a Budweiser bottle that's just laying flat and cuts, and they go, ah. And then he's like, oh my God, I saw blood. I'm going to die. This will come back later on.
Yeah, but that's not what happens.
Yeah, because these movies, actually from 3, 4, and 5 all do the thing where like, this is this character.
Yeah.
This is the quirky thing that they don't like,
Yeah.
or something that's related to them, and that will be their undoing.
I feel like that was a prerequisite, though.
Whereas the first two weren't like that. It's just Freddy found out a way to... Like in the first one, Tina wasn't like, I'm really afraid of being on the ceiling. It's my biggest fear.
My biggest fear is somebody ripping their face off
Yeah.
in front of me.
It's like in 4, they keep mentioning that, oh, she works out all the time.
Yeah, 3 is where they kind of introduced that, and then it became less subtle.
Because it was successful. But
Sure.
like
Yeah.
the best part about 3 is that they use those to their advantage.
Yeah.
And they become the dream
Wow,
warriors.
yeah.
That's all.
But
point
then
of the
it's also
fucking
funny
movie.
how it also becomes their undoing.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but it works for that movie and doesn't really work again.
Yes. Yes.
They might even try it in this film.
He could just kill people. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Johnny Depp didn't go like, my biggest fear is being sunk into a hole and turning into a blood fountain.
No.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but
oh,
you also got to recognize, and I know you're also kind of being facetious by saying that to some extent, but it's like that's the gimmick now.
Yeah.
You got to lean into
Sure,
it.
because that's what people come to the movie for.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
so Dan falls asleep while driving, and then this is where my issue starts. The worst, and we've kind of touched on it, the worst thing in this movie is Freddy Krueger.
I thought this part was kind of funny.
This one's good.
No, like
The truck one's
I
good.
like what's happening.
Yeah.
I like the truck looks really cool. I like him turning into a motorcycle, but like all the one-liners and
Yeah.
zingers by Freddy are so uninspired. They're so like
He's peppering him in
they're not
hardcore.
really.
Better buckle up, dear. This boy feels the need for speed. Better not dream and drive.
It's like Trailer Park Boys. Like once or twice is fine, but you're doing 80, 90 times.
Yeah.
I
No,
like
I
when
get
he
that.
burns his own arm off and then like buckles
Yeah.
himself
With
in.
alcohol.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I
But,
love I love when the mom comes on the radio when he first starts streaming. He's like, "My son's a fucking dickweed."
Which I was like, was that like a setup? I don't remember him having a mom in the last one. Also, was that a setup that we missed?
I don't know.
Because that was like a weird.
They have
Yeah.
the college scene with him and the dad and the mom come
football.
over with the football coach. Come
Yeah.
on, sport.
Yeah, but like, yeah, his mom didn't seem like overbearing like the other one.
I don't think she
But-
likes.
Well, they
Yeah.
needed him for
Alice.
this movie because there's actually a
Yeah.
plot point to
Yeah.
it.
But with Freddy, it's just he keeps taking me out of the movie because I just hate all his one-liners
Also,
in this.
his makeup is some of the worst.
Yes, I was gonna say his makeup is
Not good.
This is not representative of what his
No,
makeup
no.
looks like.
He looks bad.
This is what his makeup looks
That,
like.
that cook scene especially, you notice it.
He looks
Yeah.
bad in 5. He looks even worse in Freddy's Dead. He looks terrible.
I
in
will
Freddy's
not. I will
Dead.
not have any Freddy's Dead shit talking on this
Well.
show. Thank you very much.
You didn't get to that one yet, so you can't really
Look, I
give your
might
opinion away
be
yet.
in your home, but you're on my show, and we do not shit talk Freddy's Dead.
Again, I'm a guest. I'm a guest in my own house.
But yeah, so other than Freddy just taking me out of it, I like what I'm seeing. I like that he turns into like a weird HR Giger.
Yeah, like this Giger
Biomechanical-
Tsukamoto fucking
And then
thing.
the face is on
Yeah.
the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like that shit
Yeah.
was
It's
cool.
really cool.
But really, what's happened in real life is he fell asleep at the wheel, and Freddy like crashes him into shit.
Right.
Right
Wait.
into a Mack truck.
Right into a back truck.
Right
And
in
then-
Rumpelstiltskin.
Now, this jump scare is awesome. So I often talk about 80s compositing and how
Yeah.
it's real noticeable.
Yeah.
This one catches me every single
Yeah,
time.
it's a good one.
You have to really look, and you'll notice that the foreground has the issue that a lot of it has where like the color correction doesn't match.
Because they're doing compositing with film.
Yes, which is an issue.
Yeah.
But like this one, you're so in the moment that like you don't realize it until she like grabs the thing, and then the whole background turns into the fallopian
Oh
tube.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole background changes.
Yeah.
And it makes me jump a lot.
Oh
Yeah. Ah!
Yeah.
But yeah, every single time, like, oh shit, that whole shot was composited. It's lit so well that you don't notice. Now she goes outside and sees that her boyfriend has crashed into a truck.
Oh, yeah.
And this truck driver,
Freddy Krueger.
he just happened to just be. It wasn't Freddy Krueger. It's to fake you out.
Ted Kruger.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
to,
yeah, exactly.
it's just to fake you
Does he know
out. But then
Sam?
when you think about it, it's like, wait a minute. that truck driver was wearing a fedora at night? Like, what the fuck was he wearing a fedora?
Did he take his sunglasses off before he got out?
Maybe.
By the way, Freddy's outfit is stupid. He's wearing a Christmas sweater and a fedora. I'm like, you are not well dressed.
Well, and then this
but
guy's-
he's a crazy person.
Yeah.
I don't know, this guy's pretty crazy.
I assume the truck driver, although I like that, he's just like, what the fuck? The guy came out of nowhere.
I mean, yeah.
Like, did he manifest, you think?
He
Maybe.
might have.
Yeah. No, I think Freddy was like making him drive into the guy's truck.
I don't know. That's dicey. It depends
Yeah.
which movie you're watching.
But then Freddy like kind of possesses the body. He's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you, Alice.
Yeah.
And then
Want to
she-
make babies?
Yeah, then
Yeah,
she-
want to make babies.
Well, then she
Like,
wakes
what the fuck?
up.
That's not even, they've already made a baby. I know we don't
Alright.
know yet.
She doesn't know yet.
But like that line was stupid.
I wonder if that whole part is like part of the dream, and that was actually Freddy as a guy, because then she passes out and wakes up in the fucking hospital.
What he should have said is like, looks like I'm toast.
I would have been more on brand.
I'm burning for you,
Yeah.
or some bullshit.
She wakes up in the Hellraiser hospital like everybody does in these movies. Oh my God, Dan's dead. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Dan's dead. Oh no, you're wrong. Dan's dead.
But by the way, what worse like news could you get? It's like, hey, just want to let you know, your boyfriend died. But don't worry, you're pregnant. I'd be like, ah,
Freddy's
what?
back.
Well,
Yeah, and then in my mind, I'm like, also, there's a dream demon in it. I'm like, there's a lot I'm dealing with.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
But then add the additional caveat that you're dealing with all that, trying to make sense of it, and then the guy's parents, your dead fucking boyfriend, the father of your child, the
Yeah.
grandparents of your child come to
Yeah.
you and say, "We don't think you're mentally stable enough to raise this. We'd like
Yeah.
to have it,
I love how
please."
she like tries to break it to her gently, but then she's like, "Well, we'll take you to court for the kid."
Yeah.
and she's like, "What?"
like, come on.
Wait, does that happen here? Or is
It's a
that-
little later,
That's
but
a little
it's like
later.
some
That's a
fucked
little
up.
later.
So I just wanted to
'Cause
cap
in this
off that
scene,
thought.
the mom is like crying,
Yeah.
and the dad's like, ah.
Yeah.
I like the dad in this scene where he's like shopping.
Yeah.
And she's like, when did you start like shopping smartly? He's like, when I found out my baby girl is having a baby.
When I became a grandpa.
Yeah, and then she's like, are you ashamed of me? And he's like, no. Because he's made his own mistakes and stuff.
I was a raging alcoholic. I'm good.
Yeah. And he kind of like, I guess because his wife died, so you can probably
Yeah.
relate to like the fact that like he's a single parent. It's like,
Yeah,
oh shit,
for
now
sure.
my daughter's gonna go through the same
Yeah.
He
thing.
even makes some kind of comment like, "Oh, it'd be nice to have a boy running around
Yeah.
again," you know, because of.
I
his
mean,
son.
it's a nice like you don't really get these kind of weird like little character details in these type of movies.
Rarely.
It's something you don't usually get in these.
And that's why I like it. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know who wrote what scenes. But I'm gonna
10
say
people,
that I'm
apparently.
gonna say that Leslie Bowen wrote the worst parts of
Yeah.
this.
'Cause I think there's about 2/3 of a really good movie in this.
Yeah.
And then a third just, take your scenes, right?
Some of
Like
the
you're
fucking
saying.
dialogue is just like shut
Yeah.
up.
Some of the plot
Yeah.
decisions, too.
And I
but-
will say this next scene, Greta dreaming. You can kind of tell she's already in a dream. Like
Yeah.
it's either let us know we're in a dream or like
They try to fake
trick
it
us.
out.
It's also choppy as hell.
It's very choppy.
this
but
is
again,
where a
there's
lot of the gore stuff came out.
Yeah.
But they try to trick you on every single one in this movie.
Yeah.
If you're really not paying attention, you look away for a second, you're going to miss the person.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So she's like, blah, 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 you have to eat. And she's like, why do you want me to eat all of a sudden? You wipe the food out of my hand every single time. She's like, well, you starve yourself so you can eat at these events.
So you don't look like a fucking weirdo.
And then it's just, she's like, I don't want to eat. And then Freddy Krueger comes in dressed as a chef.
Bon appetit, bitch.
And I'm like, oh my
That's a fucking
God.
good one.
I would have, okay, I will allow that one.
That one's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
And then he's like speaking with like a French accent. I thought that was funny
yeah,
as hell.
I don't know. He's again, it's just not doing it for me. And then he kind of like hugs her to like choke her. And I do like in the real world, she's standing up going blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah,
I was
and no
hoping-
one's sitting there like, should we do something?
The mom's just mortified. She's being embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's all she cares about.
But again,
She was singing Belafonte like two seconds ago. I don't know what happened.
and again, another cool moment is when Allison looks in the refrigerator and it turns into stop motion food.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Pee-wee
That
was
was
there.
cool.
Real quick, there's like 6 effects houses working on this fucking
Yeah.
movie. There's Todd Master Studios, K&B, The Character Shop, which
Mm.
is Rick Lazzarini company, Ted Rea FX for the stop motion, a Dave Miller studio.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
And it's packed
Yes.
to the brim.
Well, that's the thing.
And
it's
it
like-
looks amazing.
Well, because the Freddy makeup, I still think it looks good, but I get what you guys are saying. Definitely starts to look a little worse.
I think
But
that's
there's
K&B.
Maybe, but I'm just saying, like, all the effects overall, I think in this film are really good, especially like this kill. I think the way they make this, like, her face all pushed out,
Yeah.
is pretty crazy.
Oh,
He's
it looks
like
amazing.
stuffing her face. It's gigantic.
With doll guts.
Oh god.
But
yeah.
oh yeah, because she's got a thing with dolls. Her
Yeah.
room's full of dolls.
Yeah.
It's like this whole thing. But she actually looks like the girl.
perfect body.
She looks like the girl from Eraserhead with the big
Kind of,
cheeks.
yeah. Everything
Yeah.
and everything in heaven is.
But I
fine.
love this moment where her friend comes out of the refrigerator.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. And then Freddy grabs her, and he's not saying anything, which is nice. And he grabs her, pulls her in, and
slams
of
the door.
course, because he has to get another one in. I love that there's
the ticket.
I love that there's a ticket on the thing with a Freddy Krueger magnet, and it says like "die bitch" or something.
It says "die bitch," but the top is like those headers, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something nice today.
It's like "die bitch."
Like with these kind of.
But the Freddy magnet really sold
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for me.
I feel like though when you have these kind of kills in the movie, I feel like that's them telling the audience, hey, it's gonna be one of those kind of movies.
Well,
But I feel like we're gonna keep talking about it, but I feel like the movie never decides what side it wants to land on.
Yeah.
it
if
takes
that makes
itself
sense.
it takes itself very seriously,
Yeah.
and
Until-
Freddy is
and
the
the-
silly part.
Yes. And those two just however it worked in the previous films, and of course it's mastered in the next one.
Right.
It just doesn't gel in
No.
this at
No.
all.
It's jarring. Yeah.
Because they're like, well, you gotta have fucking the Freddy cartoon character. He's gotta
he's
whip
gotta
out
say
those
something
bitch
funny.
lines.
It's like, okay, here's a funny line. He's got to have 5 more lines. Like, I don't think he needs 5 more lines.
Just say some more bone-chilling shit,
Sure.
man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
How about he says something threatening? Nope, one-liners. Like,
Yeah.
they're all gonna be one-liners.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't feel bad for every character. You can't connect with every character in these movies. There's too many of them that have to get killed. But
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. Like, Greta was kind of annoying, but like, oh, she's dead? All right.
No.
The characters are more upset than I am. I could care
We
less.
didn't really get to like spend
Yeah,
any
I
time
don't
with her
know.
at all.
I guess you got to kill people, but it just
Yeah.
felt like, they could have done that a little better.
Oh, we totally skipped over it.
What?
In the hospital,
Yep.
she meets a little boy in a
Oh,
dream.
Jacob.
Oh, Jacob. Yeah.
Jacob, who is the
Duck lips.
annoying kid. Duck lips.
Duck lips from Full House.
Oh.
I forgot that. I know
Yeah.
him as the annoying kid from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the 6-foot
That
turkey.
doesn't sound very scary.
More like a 6-foot turkey.
I know him from another thing that I can't talk about on camera because it's not my story. But I told you guys.
Oh
off
yes,
camera.
you did tell us that.
And he was also on an episode of Glee. She ends up meeting him in the hospital. He's like, "My name's Jacob. Sorry, your boyfriend died." And it's like, "Who's this mysterious kid?" And it's like, "Oh, it's her kid."
It's a
Yeah.
boy.
Somehow the kid has a conscience and he knows what's happening. It reminds me of the film that we've all watched called Daughters of the Dust.
Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
going to say demonic toys.
No,
Yeah, I was gonna bring demonic toys up
no,
later.
no,
Literally
no.
has
Oh,
that.
straight up.
No, the black
It's not a little
feminist,
soldier though.
Done better.
the black feminist period piece that I watched in my Blacks in Cinema class in college. We've all watched Daughters of the Dust, but that whole movie is being told from the point of view of a little girl who hasn't been born yet.
Oh.
And I think it stole from this fucking
You think
movie,
so?
to be honest. Yeah, I have to check out the dates.
Yeah.
I love bringing that movie up because I
Did
know
it have a
it's-
demon face at the end?
Maybe.
I bring that movie up because the only time I bring that movie up is when I know whoever I'm in the room with has never seen that movie. It's the one movie I can guarantee no one I know has ever seen. Not a bad movie. Anyway,
Never saw it.
Anyway, either it stole from this or this stole from that of having a kid who's not born yet, but somehow conscious of what's happening in the real world. And that's Jacob.
Wow.
He named himself, apparently.
And she
Yeah.
just goes with
Well,
it.
no. She goes. Oh, that's a name that I always loved that name. So
Oh,
obviously
right,
it's coming from her
right.
conscience.
I guess, yeah.
So yeah, Mark is sad. Probably because all his friends are dying.
Yes.
Again, like, sure, he should be upset. I'm just like, okay, Greta, nice to know you, I guess.
Well, he mentions that he was in love with Greta.
I know, that's his character.
Because that
quirk.
is funny. They should really be like, hey, you weren't this sad about Dan. He's like, oh, no, Dan was.
I didn't want to fuck Dan.
All right, yeah. I didn't fantasize about Dan. I didn't crank it to Dan.
He's like, I'm not gay. This isn't Nightmare 2. You're watching the wrong movie,
Yeah.
lady.
You won't know that for another, like, 10 years.
It's not a euphemism.
Alice kind of brings them up to date, but she doesn't know how Freddy is attacking her friends because he has to do it through her dreams, but she's not asleep.
Right.
So it's a big mystery. And then you in the audience is going like, it's your baby.
It's the baby.
It's your baby, but we're not at that point yet.
She
We
didn't
gotta
find
wait.
out yet.
Yeah,
Right, there's
she didn't
enough
find-
hints at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Um,
really clever thing.
No,
Yes.
to
I
put
think
into
it
another
is.
Clever
movie.
idea.
I think it's great.
Especially you're on
Especially
the
in a
fourth
5.
sequel. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Mark wants to be the Phantom Prowler because he can't do anything in the real world. But if he was the Phantom Prowler, he'd be able to take care of people choking.
In my dreams, I'm beautiful and bad.
Yeah, it's really like that. Oh, those two should have gotten
Yeah,
together.
it could be.
So yeah, he gets sucked into a cartoon world. And I
It's
thought
fucking cool,
I
dude.
thought
He-
the aha
I was-
take on me episode. I beat you to it.
Oh,
fucker.
you fuck! I was gonna say he ahas right into the comic book.
But I like-
it looks great.
I
It
like
does.
that Alice is like, I need to help him. And she grabs a marker, doodles herself,
Yeah,
and then
what was-
goes to sleep to enter the world. He ended up I guess in his sleep he drew the Freddy house.
Yeah,
The Elm Street house.
I like how like in the comic he's like reading the movie as he's going.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
little later. That's a little
Oh,
later. I have
yeah.
that note a little later.
I do think it's kind of funny just to bring up Halloween again, or invoke it rather.
Yeah.
Is like I mean, you can correct me. You've gone through these so far. There's a few more left you're gonna go through, but like the house is pretty consistent in this series. Halloween,
Pretty
they could not get that fucking house
I
right.
think the
after
only
2.
difference is the first movie, the door was blue.
This one they nailed it.
Yeah.
Halloween,
And
they
Freddy versus-
could not.
Freddy versus Jason is a different color door, but there was a deleted scene where she chips the paint and sees that it was
wow.
red.
Really?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Interesting.
Because then I guess they realized, like, no one gives a shit about the color of the door, really, to be honest.
Except us going, fucking, they made that door blue.
I just say compared to Halloween, it's like I feel like every one of those movies was a different damn house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
The Strode Realty, I think they're just swapping. Fucking,
Yeah.
They have to remodel it every time because somebody's gonna
The
buy it.
outside
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Myers house looked pretty consistent, except for 5.
True.
The inside kept changing.
6.
True.
Are they living? No. Is Paul Rudd in the house? In the Mike
No,
Myers
he's,
house?
he's across the street.
The old lady's
Yeah.
in the Myers house?
No, the old lady is with Paul Rudd. The family's in the
The
Myers
family's
house.
in the
That's
one.
where they're adding an addition to it.
That
Anyway,
one doesn't look anything like the Myers house.
It's a fucking rabbit hole.
It did if it didn't have that addition. on
Yeah,
the top.
right.
But anyway, back to this.
Sorry.
Yes.
Look, I can
sorry.
talk about Halloween
Yes,
6 all
yes,
day
I
long, and
know.
I intend to right now. So the movie's starting.
We already did.
Oh, damn it.
It's very bad. Don't
Damn
watch it.
it.
I love Producer Scott. Go!
He enters the house. She goes in there to look for him. He's being sucked into a fallopian tube.
Man.
And this effect is great. You could see the wire holding him up, but you could also see where it's chroma keyed, so it's a wire that's across his belly and then it disappears.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, she saves him, but
Yeah.
then he sees blood. And then I guess when you faint in a dream, that makes you wake up in the real world.
It's the implication,
I
right?
guess so.
But that's another cool shot where he like backs out.
And falls out.
They do a lot of cool stuff with like the camera movement and characters disappearing.
There's some excellent cinematography in this. And again, the effects, the optical effects too look amazing,
Yeah.
not just the practical.
And the fake outs are pretty good. You don't feel
Yeah.
like shit, what
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
It's like
And
all
then,
right. yeah.
Jacob's there, and he's being all cryptic until he's not. He's like, oh, vague, something vague, something vague. And she's like, what? She's like, yeah, you won't love me. You never blah, 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 blah. She's like, what? Are you my kid? What the fuck?
You
didn't want me.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even know what's going on? Like,
That doesn't sound very scary. Sounds like a 6-foot turkey. Sounds like a guy with glove
and
fingers.
he's like, my friend, the man with the funny hands. Like,
Funny
how do-
hand
It's
man.
like, how do you know what hands are? You're a fetus.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's feeding off her thoughts.
Yeah.
Freddie can do it.
Also,
Freddie
Jake,
taught the finger thing.
I have it here. Jake, that sounded wrong. Anyway, I have it
I mean,
here.
it's
I'm like-
not true.
I was like, Jacob, give your mom a break. She just found out she's pregnant, and your dad died.
And your name.
She's like, why didn't you ever tell me about that? It's like, she didn't even know you existed until a day ago.
Is he already a teenager? What's going on
I
here?
don't know what's going
I
on.
hate you, Mom.
I mean, the doctor does say, well, the baby's growing a little faster than it should, but otherwise it's a healthy baby.
Otherwise, it's fine. Freddie keeps feeding it fucking souls of your dead friends.
That's we're getting to that part.
Man, that is a creepy scene. This is what I'm talking about. This scene.
Yeah. So she gets the ultrasound.
Yes.
And I love he's like, are you testing if your baby has nightmares? She's like, what? No. Everything.
There's a man with a razor glove coming after me in my
Right.
dreams.
Yeah, and then she gets all video droned into the thing.
That's fucking cool, man.
and she's seeing her baby close up, and then Freddy's face is in like
That's
in
like
the
she
uterus.
goes
or
to,
whather.
she goes to the tube though, and it's like this hyper realistic
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
And then like Freddie's face, like, oh, we're blood or some shit.
See any family resemblance?
resemblance.
what was the second 2001? 2010?
2010.
It kind of reminded me that there's like that baby motif throughout that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Or also
Right on the
remind-
cover, yeah.
Kind of remind me of Inner Space too, when
Yeah.
he sees
Yeah.
that the girl's pregnant because he's inside her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's creepy as hell. The
Yeah,
eyes like roll back
It's
and everything.
It's really gross.
yeah, it's a creepy scene, but yeah, we see him that he's feeding the souls of like his
Yeah.
dad.
It's like coming
and
down the
girl.
fucking
The umbilical cord?
yeah.
They're like, oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all just sitting in there for all eternity, going, "Blah!"
And it's a pretty big baby, plump.
Well, he's got to have a whole new soul well again.
So again, now this is just like Demonic Toys, but like when he comes out,
Mm.
is he gonna look like Freddy Krueger?
That's a good
He's gonna look like that suckling creature, the baby
That's a-
version.
that's suckling.
That's a good question. It remains to be seen.
Is he gonna come out like the fucking yam from the beginning of the movie, or is he gonna come
Will
out
he
like
have
normal?
like Freddy's conscience?
I think
I don't
what he
know,
would look
right?
like is what Jacob looks like at the end of this film with the weird fucking makeup and everything.
Or is it gonna be like? It's gonna be like a thing like Jason Goes to Hell, where he's just gonna come out with his outfit and everything.
Like he's just gonna pop out. Yeah.
My last guess was gonna be what happened with Mae Young and Mark Henry.
The hand?
It's a hand. It's
just
just
a
gonna be a
glove?
hand.
Remember
yeah.
when that hand grew up?
Turn into
Yes, I do. Weirdly enough.
There was they did a Raw reunion,
Oh my
and it was
God.
Mae Young, and then it's a guy in just a hand outfit, and he's like, "I'm Mae Young's hand."
Now imagine that's Freddy Krueger's face.
Yeah, he's like,
oh
"I'm
my
all
God.
grown up now." It's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That was a bad pun. Let's give May a hand. I'm pretty sure whoever wrote this wrote that episode
So-
of Monday
so
Night Raw.
Jerry the
About
King
a
Lawler.
hand!
Okay, I have a big question. They go into Alice's room. What the fuck is up with the pair of jeans that are being used to house a plant?
It was a '90s thing. I mean, we're on the cusp there,
in-
I
right?
mean, it's the 80s.
In
thing.
the background, there's
yeah.
just a pair of jeans that look like the lower half of someone's, like they're stuff, so it looks like someone's standing there, but the top half is just a plant. I'm like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Maybe it's a really cool planter. I
Well,
don't
she
know.
is kind of artsy. You see that
Yeah.
she has like paintings and stuff and crafty and whatnot.
That had to be in the pop culture at the time. That had to be a
Maybe.
thing
I
people
kind of
were
want that
doing.
now. I don't even like plants,
I
but I
mean-
kind of want just a pair of pants that holds
Yeah.
things.
Well, the comic book kid's room looks like the set of In Living Color.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
It's got like a spray painted fucking like 6-foot ladder.
He's hanging out in his
Um,
dad's fucking warehouse.
also
half the
true.
movie.
But this is where Mark brings up, like, hey, maybe you should get rid of that kid. And she's like, no, I want to keep him.
I thought that was pretty
It's a
interesting
part
to
of it.
have in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
There
there
were
were
a
probably
lot
get an
of-
abortion.
There were a lot, because I'm also watching like Twin Peaks right now. There were a lot of like media
Mm.
that was introducing the idea of abortion at that time, but then like the characters wouldn't choose it.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause I
think
guess
about
that-
pop culture at the time. That
Yeah.
was a really, I mean, it is now,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, you know, was it 30 years removed?
Yeah.
Also, the movie's over then.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
wow,
well, one,
yeah.
the movie's over.
Let's go get an
Um,
abortion.
but yeah, it wasn't-
Freddy's
it wasn't-
dead, the
it-
final nightmare.
It wasn't until Elaine on Seinfeld where she had a hard stance and she was willing to die on that hill.
Right, right.
But yeah, I do like the workaround where she's like, it's like me and Dan. It's the only thing I have left of him. And right on cue, Dan's parents are there and they're like,
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna
they're
take
like,
that
by the
baby."
way, what a terrible doctor. Like the doctor called and let us know you had a psychotic
yeah.
episode. I'm like, I don't know if he's allowed to call other people.
That is
about
illegal to do.
Yeah, she should be like, oh, well, I'm suing that doctor
Mm.
right now.
We're gonna take you to court and steal your kid from because you're crazy.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, do they have any authority over that? Because, like,
They claim they do, but I don't think so.
she wants to keep the baby. The dad, he was an alcoholic, but he's not anymore. They clearly live in a nice house and everything. Like,
I think it's a legal guardian situation, but that's like if something happens to her,
I-
and
Yeah.
and she hasn't been displaying any ineptity except with like the doctor.
yeah, but you can even justify that as, like, her boyfriend just died. She's probably
Ineptitude.
going through a lot. Like, this probably won't be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
They don't know that there's a dream demon
Wow.
that's floating around.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
fact has not been brought up to them.
Sure.
I would imagine, but this is beyond the scope of this film, that if it got to that point, then maybe someone in fucking Elm Street or whatever this town is
Yeah.
called would finally be like, oh shit. This guy's back again.
I don't think we even say Elm Street. We don't even
Yeah.
see
They-
Elm
they
Street.
say Elm
They
Street.
mention
Do
Elm
they?
Street.
Do they?
They mention Elm. They don't go there.
The Elm
other
Street
than, other
kids?
than their dream, they don't physically go there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Alice looks for Amanda in the dream world, while Yvonne is attacked on a diving board. And this is pretty. Apparently, this actress had like terrible food poisoning during all this.
Jesus.
Try
So
not
she had
to
to-
shit herself while she's doing this
Got a brown
underwater
stain
scene.
cooking, dude.
This is cool. How like the diving board comes up like
Yeah.
a claw.
Yeah, all the stop motion stuff looks great.
Yeah,
Makes
that
me-
was
Pee-
cool.
Pee-wee or Beetlejuice comes
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
mind.
I thought she was gonna splat in the pool.
Yeah.
Instead, she like goes
Goes
to
to
that
that little
puddle.
puddle.
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, and then they fight Freddy in this like big tank.
Oh my god,
Uh,
Alice stuffs a fucking pool
yeah.
skimmer through his mouth.
Which was so good they used it in the Freddy versus Jason recap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shoves it into his mouth. He's ready to like take him on, but then he realizes where they are in the dream world and he gets scared because Amanda's nearby.
But like, how does he not? He takes her there, so how?
Well,
does
she
he
can
not know that
she
she's in
can
there?
control some of her dreams, so I think she took herself there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also like, again, we already kind of said this, but we're in like the 5th movie at this point. They kind of already forgot some of their own rules. It's like, yeah, the dream world's a thing when it's convenient for the plot. Yeah, Amanda's around here. Run, Freddy!
They're also
Yeah.
trying to do something different.
No,
which
they
I
are.
understand.
But you got that baggage for better or worse.
Yeah. And then Mark is pulled into another he's pulled into a comic, but you're right. The comic, as he's skimming through it,
I was like the movie.
I wonder
yeah.
if there is like a comic adaptation
gotta.
of this.
I wonder
Because
who-
it has everything.
I wonder who drew it.
That's actually pretty.
And he
cool.
goes full aha here because
He
and
does.
it's really cool. It looks really good. The
Yes.
optical effect, him turning into a drawing and then into the book.
that looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then when he's in there,
Mm.
what you call it? Everything is black and white, but it's not colored black and white. The set is painted
It's
black and white,
and
he's
it's
colored.
It's so fucking cool.
Which is that was really really
Yeah.
cool. He sees the girl that he liked. She's still fat and weird.
And
Yeah.
she's like a
Fred-
doll face.
Yeah, and Freddy
now.
turns her into a doll. He gets pissed and he has his moment like
She's
in Nightmare
delicious!
3.
or something.
Well, and the thing is, he could get away at that point,
Yeah.
and he chooses not to. 'Cause
Yes.
He's like, oh, I could beat him because I'm in a dream, and she said I could control myself.
Well,
And he's like,
He doesn't
I'm
say
going to
that, but it's
turn into
implied.
the Phantom Prowler,
Right.
who has 2 handguns that for some reason have complicated arms that I don't know what purpose they serve.
he's got that alien resurrection shit happening where it comes out of his sleeve.
Yeah, no, but that made sense because it was concealed. I don't know why the bars go all the way to his back. I'm like, they're not
Cut
heavy
back on the
guns.
ricochet.
Well, there you go.
Uh,
Oh, recoil.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe.
Depends how big those bullets are coming out of there.
But yeah, he's shooting Freddy and he's being real cheesy. I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is pretty stupid. And then right on cue, Freddy gets up as Super Freddy. And I'm like, oh, this is really stupid. And by the way, a couple minutes before, Freddy was on a skateboard that had Freddy claws on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
And now he's Super Freddy.
I like this scene, but it is really stupid in the context of this series.
It's very
I'm like
stupid.
into it, but I'm like, wow, why is this in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie?
Wasn't Super Freddy in... What did we do? We did another movie. Wasn't Hills Have Eyes, was it?
No, we didn't.
No.
do that.
He's in something that we covered, and I can't remember
Oh,
who
man.
it is. He's in like another suit or some shit.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
I think I remember you mentioning.
Or he's
him.
like Mr. Ponytail Man in something.
Oh, I don't remember.
forget.
It
Sounds
sounds
right.
familiar.
Though,
I know-
now
'cause
that
I know
you're
it's not
saying
Robert
it.
Englund. It's
No,
that-
no,
yeah,
no.
Mr. Ponytail Man.
Yeah.
Where is that
But yeah,
from? Someone tell us,
Yeah.
please.
He turns Mark into a piece of paper and then just slices him up.
The coolest thing is that it's a literal piece of paper, and like
Yeah.
Robert Englund's like cutting it up with the glove.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cool, man. I think it's
That
neat.
was pretty cool, yeah.
all the color drains out of him onto the floor like blood.
So then the plan is like, okay, they looked up what happened to Amanda Kruger because they weren't around for part 3, so they didn't know. So she's like, all right, Yvonne, you need to go to Weston Hills, which is now abandoned.
Yeah.
And also turned it. I guess a lot of kids died. Maybe people stopped.
They must have.
I
I
mean,
think they
after
opened
that-
it up again in the 2000s.
that
Yeah,
rough-
they eventually opened it up again.
After that rough night that Amanda Kruger had, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they shut down.
And, well,
weekend.
no, they were still around because that's where part 3 takes place.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because remember she was
Yeah.
said she was in the abandoned wing.
Well, forget that.
And I guess the rest of the hospital got abandoned after part 3. They're like, well, all these kids are dead. We should probably, this isn't good. So she
Hypnosil.
goes there. Yeah, she goes there now to look for the body, which I thought the guy found like the hidden room in part 3, but I guess there's an even more hidden room with Amanda Kruger's physical corpse. I guess she just bricked herself in and died. Even though there is a grave for her in the cemetery where everyone gets buried in Springwood.
But
It's
the body
Yes.
it's
is
just-
in a room.
right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like the Texas Chainsaw remake or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
Where Leatherface had the chainsaw behind a brick wall. But at least that one, you could be like, maybe the mother put it there. It's like, who the fuck put
Well,
this
no,
there?
that was a ripoff of John Wick, as we
yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was
True.
the new one.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, right.
The
yeah,
direct
the-
sequel.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Alice is looking for Freddy. And the camera work is on point here.
It's so
with the
good.
hallway and the
Oh, yeah.
doors and
Yeah.
everything. It is so good.
It's really good.
And again, stuff like this really sucks me in.
Mhm.
And then Freddy opens his mouth and I get pulled right back out.
The reverse Godfather 3.
Yeah. He gets sucked into the memory of the asylum when his mom was attacked, so he's now being attacked by all the crazy guys.
He gets fucking dismembered
He
by
gets
all the
dismembered,
maniacs.
but don't worry, his arms turn into spiders, cartoon spiders, and then
Yeah.
real spiders.
Yeah.
I guess he just landed on spiders. Can't he just turn into mist?
I don't know. He could do it
Can't
literally
just
whenever he
teleport?
wants.
I-
Yeah.
He can teleport.
He could literally just butcher them in 1 second and call it a day, but then there's no movie.
But in the next scene, he's all fucked up, and it's like, well, how did you turn into spiders and then turn back into Freddy, but your arm's still fucked up, and your
Yeah.
back's like all shit?
There's 3 writers.
Ugh, but yeah, then he meets. She meets Jacob again.
Mhm.
And she's trying to get him to run away from Freddy, but then Freddy is pretending to be Jacob's dad.
Yeah,
Right.
David Bowie's there. He's singing. Drops a ball. Then
That's
crystal
true.
ball.
we do get-
the movie.
Talk
okay.
about Hellraiser. We get the Hellraiser 2 shit in this with this like fucking weird labyrinth
Yeah.
going on.
Well, that was the Escher sort of painting
Oh, yeah, I guess,
style,
yeah, you
which
said
is cool.
that, yeah.
Doesn't this come out the same year as Hellraiser 2?
That was the thing I was trying to figure out
Yeah.
without I didn't look it up. But
I
I was
think
thinking,
Hellraiser 2 was a little earlier.
Hellraiser is 87.
Hellraiser was before
It was
4. I
around
know
Hellraiser
that.
2
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it would've been
either
around.
89 or
I'm saying, like, I don't know. Maybe
88.
there's probably actual research of
Yeah.
this, whether that is the case or not. But I just feel those little tinges of Hellraiser.
glad-
But Freddy's had that look for the
Yeah.
past couple movies.
I'm glad you
Like the Dream
mentioned
World.
Hellraiser because
Show
I
me.
have the you as
Whoever.
a movie
Oh,
dumpster.
yeah.
Jesus.
Collective.
Anyway, I'm glad you mentioned Hellraiser because I have that bonus show on my Patreon with my cousin Monica, Bloodline, a Hellraiser show. We have, as of this recording, we have finished all the Doug Bradley ones.
Oh boy.
We got 2 more to go, and we already did the newest one on the main channel.
I feel so
okay.
sorry for your
So
cousin.
become a YouTube channel member or patron today and check that out. Anyway, back to this.
I can tell you that Hellraiser 5 is not as good as Nightmare on Elm Street 5. For sure.
With
I
confidence.
don't-
With
wait,
confidence.
Inferno?
yeah.
I think I like Inferno more than this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
6, I definitely agree
Okay.
with you. Yes, so I like when they get to that room. I guess it's like kind of like the boiler room, sort of. But there's these big pillars, and they all have like Freddy's face on them.
Oh, yeah.
Which looks
Really
cool
that
as
even?
hell.
This reminds. I feel like they bring this kind of aesthetic back in New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
really
New
cool.
Nightmare kind of borrows a lot,
Yeah.
like aesthetic wise.
The best parts of the
Yes.
series. Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the pillars with like all the different Freddy
It's
faces on
Really
them.
cool.
So Jacob lets her know, like, he's hiding inside you. He hides inside people. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna pull him out of me. And then she's like, it looks like her and Freddy got stuck in a teleporter.
Man, it's
well,
awesome.
she turns into Freddy first and then
Yeah.
pulls him
And then her
out.
That was
face, like,
cool.
it's like the
Yeah.
thing, and then it's really cool. There's like stop motion scenes where like
Yeah.
his arm comes out of her back and his foot comes out of her
Yeah.
leg. It's really cool.
It's crazy. And then in the real world, Yvonne somehow sees a bunch of bricks in the wall and goes, that's probably a hidden room. It's
and
like,
punches through it.
yes. She breaks through it, and then she finds Amanda Kruger, who is a zombie.
It's Norman Bates'
She-
mom.
Yes, so she died kneeling and somehow just never fell over all these years.
I don't know.
Well, they
She's
put
not.
the bricks around her kneeling body.
Yeah.
Oh, and her outfit's still pure white.
Yeah.
There wasn't any
It's not
like.
covered in pigeon shit or
Yes.
anything.
nothing.
Tightly
Uh,
packed in there.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary the first time I saw it, where the head turned. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. And then she becomes one with the Force.
Oh, dude, she Obi-Wan Kenobi's the fuck out.
She Obi-Wan Kenobi's.
Oh my god.
And then while like Amanda's stuck in the fly situation, Amanda looks like the characters from Leviathan just fused together.
Oh yeah. That
Which-
was in that body bag, right?
That was
they
in that
took-
body
they tried
bag.
to dump. Yeah.
Yeah, so Amanda like talks to Jacob, and it's like,
Also, before you just like skip over that plug, yes, check out Movie
Yes.
Dumpster. I don't know what camera looking at for the Leviathan review with Tony. Either out now or out very soon.
Yes. Probably at the
Movie
same
Dumpster.
time before.
or maybe we'll get into a fight after this episode, and it'll never come out.
Oh no.
No, I
would
think
be
it's
terrible.
coming out. It's coming out.
Now, if you like miss a release, people are gonna be like, "Did they fight?"
Fuck!
No.
no.
Anyway, so yeah, Amanda Kruger's like, Jacob, help your mom, I guess. I don't know why I'm here. There was a whole
Only-
thing to bring me here, but Jacob, you gotta do something.
They looked for me the whole movie. Now it's up to you to stop him.
Yeah, and then, as you can see him back here, Jacob turns
Right.
around, he's like, yeah, I'm evil.
I want to learn stuff from you. She's no fun anymore. Teach me.
I want to play with you. Blah. Teach me cool things.
Teach me how to be a molester.
Yeah, and it's just like...
Did you have a rough night?
And Freddy falls for this shit.
Like
Freddy should be like, yeah, I know what you're
incredibly duped. He's like,
Don't leave her alone and let's play or something.
Freddy's
So-
like, you don't have a mirror in your pocket, kid, huh? You don't have a mirror.
So Jacob like attacks him, and then, kind of like Leviathan, faces on his back come out. Yeah. I like...
the souls that rip out of his back are awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the previous movie, they were beams of light.
Yeah.
But
Which
now
is also
they're-
cool.
But now they're just spaghetti monsters coming out of his back.
They're gross and awesome, and it's like the heads of all the characters
Yes.
who have died.
I don't think it looks quite as cool as like the arms and stuff in the last movie.
like ripping them apart. And
Yeah.
stuff, no.
But yeah, he gets like attached to Amanda. Like Amanda grabs him. And this scene is awesome, where he's like struggling.
Yeah.
And the camera's pulling out and the door's closed, but then Freddy blows up the door. So then another door closed
Yeah.
and Freddy blows up that. And then there's a last door that he can't break through.
You forgot one thing.
Yeah.
He turns back into a yam baby,
Oh, yeah.
and she
true.
picks him up
That's
and like
true.
puts it back into her stomach.
Right.
Question
right.
mark?
like the
I-
suckling.
Yes.
Yeah. Went right back up there.
By the way, if you haven't seen the suckling, we have a review for it on
Yes.
Movie Dumpster.
Definitely check out the sucker.
It's
It's a
great.
great movie.
Just check it out. Check out the movie.
I love that shot of like that's just the panning shot of just like boom, boom, boom.
It's
boom.
really cool. I love that too.
It kind of reminds me of Reverse Mystery Science Theater where they go down the
Oh, yeah,
hallway.
4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shouldn't made any more after
Yeah.
this.
And then afterwards, everyone's just hanging out. Yvonne lives, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yvonne lives, the dad lives, the girl lives,
The baby lives.
The baby is there, and you think it's
Little
a
Jacob.
Yeah, you think it's a happy ending until it pans out to the little ghost girls singing
Yeah.
the song. It's like, oh shit, he's back again, baby.
Somehow.
Yeah, they didn't really explain
don't
that.
know.
Freddy's dad kind of skips over that whole thing.
Oh yeah, because you wrote yourself into a corner, but like Amanda Kruger like puts him back into her, and then she's like, "Go! I'm going away into this room," and then it's like, well,
No.
"What the fuck are you? Where are you going?"
Well, and it's like, they feel like they can't help themselves. They got to have that weird, like, Freddy implied bullshit at the end of every movie.
Well, Freddy's fucking. Don't forget, Freddy's clawed hand comes out of Amanda Kruger's chest before the door closes.
yeah,
right.
that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie's just whatever. It's not one of my favorites. The cinematography is so good. I
Yeah.
just wish everything else was up on par with that.
I totally agree with you. And like, I don't know if I'd say this is one of my favorites, but I feel like people skip this one a lot, and I feel like you should go back and revisit it because it's worth watching just for that, I think. The effects are really awesome. The cinematography is awesome. The sets are really fucking cool. The script has a lot of good ideas,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
but they're not fully executed. And like we were talking about what's chopped up. I feel like I think the only way to watch it uncut as of this recording is to watch the tape of Nightmare on Elm Street 5. This is the uncut version.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the uncut
Is this
version.
the same way?
I don't know.
Might not be.
This is the first release.
They both say 90 minutes.
Really?
I think so, right?
I mean, to be fair, are you splitting hairs at that point, though, with some of
That
the
could
stuff?
be
they
90
cut?
minutes, it says.
Could be,
Really?
4 seconds here, 3 seconds here. You might not even get up to 91, so they just throw 90.
That's
on
what
there.
that's what I read. There is
Yeah.
you can find the uncut version of it on VHS, but they have not transferred the uncut version to DVD or Blu-ray.
Oh, okay. That's kind of like Highlander 2. The theatrical cut is
There you
only
go.
available on Laserdisc and VHS.
Yeah.
Somehow I worked Highlander 2 into this. Yes, it's my least favorite of the Robert Englund ones, to be
Yeah?
honest.
Really?
Yeah.
How many
I-
other? There's only one other non-Robert Englund Nightmare on
Yeah,
Elm Street.
well, as of right now, it's my least favorite of the Robert Englund ones, okay?
Wow.
When they make more Jack Early or whatever.
No, thank you.
Uh,
I love the gothic set pieces in this, and I love the darker tone
Yes,
that it takes.
yes. It's you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm just disappointed.
It
I
ma-
expected
Yes.
better of it.
Well, it makes it feel fresh,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they botched it.
It's really just Freddy is the worst part.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
writing when it comes down to
He's
it.
not scary, and it's the quips are trying way too hard.
Yeah.
He's trying way. They're really forcing the quippiness and the yeah,
trying to make two different
the
movies.
zingers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's
Yes.
definitely scarier than he was in 4, but I didn't again, like I said, I didn't rewatch it for this review because I hate that movie. I will rewatch it eventually when I finally go down my nightmare movies and do my marathon eventually. But yeah, compared to 4, I think this is way better. I know maybe like other people feel differently. I guess Tony does, but yeah, 4 just left such a bad taste in my mouth. Again, like some of those kills are cool, but like this one, yeah, it's got problems. Like the stuff with Jacob, like I get what they're going for. I think actually with the dream stuff is kind of cool, but then when you actually make him like an actual character, that's where you start to lose me. And the Amanda Kruger shit, I'm just like, it's the same problem I have with like Hellraiser. Where it's like, oh well, what are you gonna do to add more lore? You kind of have to. You're on the 5th movie now, but it like kind of takes away from the original mystique for me personally a little bit. Again, they do say that shit happens to Amanda in the 3rd movie, but I don't need it all spelled out for me. I don't need Han Solo's whole life spelled out for me.
She could have been more periphery and still been just did as much as she did in the movie.
Exactly.
Oh, did you want to know about Han Solo? So how he got his last name? He was at the.
I knew I shouldn't have used that example, but you got what I meant.
You know his gun? It was actually a big gun,
Yeah,
and then it turned into a small gun.
When did he meet Chewbacca?
When did he get the noisy cricket?
He met him in prison, and Chewbacca was a cannibal, I think. Anyway,
Point is, this is a good movie. I maybe it's not one of the best ones, but I think it's better than some of the bad ones.
it's better than a lot of
Better
other,
than I remember it.
It's
Part
better than
fives.
a lot of other like sequels to slashers.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
just saying specifically Nightmare. It's my least favorite.
I
Nightmare.
get it.
But it
I
could
don't
have
agree,
been
but I
my
get it.
favorite if they just tweaked a few things.
I
and
agree.
made Freddy a little bit better.
Yeah.
But Steve Hopkins went on to do Predator 2.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of big movies.
Yeah.
He's still directing movies today. He
Yeah.
did a movie called Race in 2016. Still working with cinematographer Peter Levy.
Pretty great.
And it was about the Jesse Owens when he was in the Olympics, the Nazi Olympics, and he had to race there.
World's fastest man.
World's
There you
fastest man. Yeah, so I need to check that out. I didn't even know that was a thing that
Jeremy
exists.
Irons is in it.
Jeremy Irons is in it.
probably a
Jason
Nazi.
Sudeikis, William Hurt, the late William Hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like it's a loaded thing. So yeah, he's still directing. Yeah, and I guess the best thing about this movie is it gave us Stephen Hopkins, who gave us movies we loved,
Yes.
including Predator 2.
Wow, yeah.
One of the best
Yes.
sci-fi movies of all time.
Yes.
One of
I
the
guess
sequels of
sci-fi
all
horror.
time.
Yes.
Sci-fi
Well,
horror
sci-fi
movie.
horror. Obviously,
Yeah.
the best sci-fi movie is Lost in
Yeah.
Space.
Best
directed by Stephen
the
Hopkins.
best Predator sequel. How's that?
Yeah, I will give you that.
Yeah.
I will give you that. Yeah, and
Last
that is-
thing.
Yes,
I want Freddy from Part 2 in Nightmare 5, and I think that fixes it.
that would help a lot.
Oh,
That
yeah,
would
maybe.
help a lot.
Yeah.
I would even settle for Freddy from Part 3. You can still say bitch. You just don't have to always say
Yeah,
bitch.
Yeah.
Which I think is the genesis of that character in Rick and Morty, the scary Terry who just keeps saying bitch.
Yes,
yeah, well, that's the goof. Yeah.
So yeah, we've made it to 5 Friday movies.
You did
Nightmare.
it! You
Nightmare
did it!
movies.
Wasn't
Well,
me!
I
It was this guy!
in all fairness,
I only
done-
said it like 10 times
I
before
did
this.
make it to 5 Friday movies, and I did more than 5 Friday movies. But I've also now, you didn't let me finish, have made it to 5 Nightmare movies.
5 Nights at Freddy's.
Well, how do you feel?
Technically 6 because I've already reviewed New Nightmare. That's
Okay.
already
I
out
was gonna
there.
say, how do you feel about next Friday?
I like Friday after the next.
Friday after next, yeah.
If we're talking Friday movies.
So yeah, all the issues we had with this film would be fixed in the far superior sequel that I will be talking about next time.
I cannot
Freddy's
wait
dead.
to see this fucking bit play out.
Freddy's
'cause
dead. What bit are you talking about? I love this movie. Okay? Oh, thank you. That reminds me. We're gonna have to borrow that when I watch it.
You gotta put these on. You gotta take off the coupon for your Barks root beer.
You get a Barks root
You get a
beer?
Barks root beer and you can watch it in 3D.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I've never watched it in 3D before.
Yeah.
This is changing everything.
I'll bring my Sega Genesis controller. I guess.
it was Nintendo Power Glove.
Oh right, how could I forget?
Yeah. So that's
And
what.
Yaphet Kotto.
Yes, Yaphet Kotto. So yes, that is New Nightmare. We're gonna do that next time we talk about a Freddy Krueger movie. And again, Freddy vs. Jason is lingering somewhere in the future.
Spoilers, this is not the final nightmare.
Yeah,
Just in
apparently
case
it's
you
not.
didn't know that.
Apparently, it's not the final nightmare.
Yeah, just
Or
like
the final Friday.
Part 4 was not the final chapter.
No.
In Friday, just to be clear.
Yes. Well, Friday is it's not the final
13th.
Friday either.
Yes. You know what was the final chapter? That Resident Evil movie, the final chapter, because they rebooted it afterwards. So I think that's an actual final chapter.
Wow.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need more entries into that series. But
I'm
yes,
good.
if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Please join the Patreon. Become a channel member. You become a channel member first. If you like it,
Yeah.
upgrade to the Patreon. We got more stuff over there. Please subscribe to the Clips channel. I've been doing these live episodes.
Oh, nice.
We did a few live
Yeah,
episodes
yeah.
together.
Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Yeah.
best Thanksgiving
Yes.
horror movie.
Yes.
More than you would think. I've been doing these live episodes. I talk about what was new that came out at the end of the month, and then I chop those up and upload them individually on the Clips channel. That's also where I put my Twitch streams now.
Oh, okay.
So yes, check out that. And Castzilla might be coming back.
Oh.
I'm almost meeting the minimum requirement for monetization, but I think they're changing it to be 3,000 watch hours, in which case, when that goes through, I'll be monetized and Castzilla will come back. So keep an eye out for all of that. And where can we find you guys?
MovieDumpsterPodcast.com. We're right here on YouTube.
Okay, that's it. Now,
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Thank God I got that other plug
that's my new favorite bit to do. I let people talk and then I just interrupt.
Son of a
You the
bitch.
fucking rock over here?
Subscribe to Movie Dumpster on YouTube, please. Check us out. See if our show is your thing, and jump on in. The dumpster's fine. You can also listen to us on any podcast app of your choosing.
And we are also on Patreon if you are so inclined. Patreon.com/Movie Dumpster, and we also have a bunch of stuff on there to check out.
For as little as $2 a month, you can get some good stuff.
Yep.
I know from experience. I can't, with the first of the month, whenever I see the thing saying your money has gone to Movie Dumpster, I go, I know I did something good this month.
That's exactly how I feel.
And it'll forgive any bad thing I do. Any crimes I commit, any
Oh,
people
no.
I've wronged. They'll be like, Tony, you're a bad person. I'm like, not true.
He needs Chow Ting's laundry list.
Yeah, he does.
From Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, man.
Yes, that is it from us. Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.